public varsity students to get subsidy for domestic flight tickets. Airlines to handle not-to-land travellers. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. Thanks for joining us. I'm SAHIH and you're watching Malaysia Tonight. The Cabinet today has agreed to restore the pension amount paid to retired civil servants to the original amount following the Federal Court's decision last month. However, Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said for those who were receiving pension sums that were higher than the original amount, the government will continue to pay this difference in the form of a special aid, thus making the amount they receive remains the same as in June 2023. The Prime Minister added that he hoped the decision will give a positive impact towards civil servants and retirees from public and government services. More than 56,000 public university students will be benefited from the subsidy initiative for the purchase of flight tickets for domestic route that will begin on 15 August. Thus, this will be implemented through issuance of a digital voucher worth RM300 to each eligible student flying between Peninsula, Sabah, Sarawak and Labuan. This initiative, which the Cabinet agreed to at today's meeting, will involve overall cost estimated to be RM16.8 million.
Hanya sah untuk pembelian tiket penerbangan sehala atau dua hala bagi laluan penerbangan kelas ekonomi antara tempat asal, Semenanjung, Sabah, Sarawak atau Labuan dan tempat pelajar yang sedang menuntut. Hanya boleh digunakan untuk pembelian tiket penerbangan untuk 4 syarikat penerbangan yang sedia ada dalam negara kita, iaitu Malaysia Airlines, AirAsia, Batik Air, Firefly dan My Airline. Maaf, 5.
The Minister said if the ticket purchase costs less than RM300, the balance of the digital voucher could be used for the next ticket purchase. To apply for the subsidy for the purchase of flight tickets, public university students must check their eligibility through the Transport Ministry's website, which will be notified later. The Cabinet has agreed that the deportation process for travellers will not to land NTL notices will now once again be handled by airline companies and no longer by third parties. Home Minister Dato Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said it was based on the Convention on International Civil Aviation established by the International Civil Aviation Organisation ICAO and the Immigration Act 1959-63.
Sebab itu undang-undang antarabangsa ni mengatakan bahawa syarikat penerbangan itu bertanggungjawab untuk kembalikan semula travellers tu ke point of entry. Tadilah mula-mula tadi. Itu dia punya tu. So hari ini Kabinet bincang dan bersetuju supaya tanggungjawab itu dikembalikan kepada syarikat penerbangan.
He added that airlines will be responsible for the welfare of these passengers, including their meals and return flight ticket. According to the Minister, from January to June this year, 14,977 travellers were issued the NTL. Coming up next, country's wholesale and retail trade up to RM138 billion.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Encik, ada motor aksiden lah dekat sini, Encik. Langgar gajah kot.
Encik, ada kebakaran lah di alamat 5 Jalan Tembika Shah Alam.
PGO dari FRT Shah Alam didapati tiada kebakaran berlaku di sini. Over.
MERS 999. Gunakan dengan berhemah.
Memulakan langkah pertama memerlukan 1000 kekuatan. Langkah seterusnya memerlukan nekat dan juga keyakinan. Namun kita harus sokong dan bantu mereka kerana kepulihan itu pasti.
A study on Employment Act 1955 is being conducted by the Talent Corporation Berhad. Talent Corp following claims of practices by several big companies that did not pay any form of allowances to practical students. According to Deputy Human Resources Minister Mustafa Sakmut, the outcome of the study will be tabled soon.
Setakat ini baru di pihak kementerian, kita sudah amanahkan kepada pihak Talent Corp untuk buat kajian, untuk pihak pengurusan kementerian lihat sebelum kita membentangnya di peringkat kabinet.
Previously, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said he was willing to study any proposals for a law to protect the welfare of interns. Malaysia's wholesale and retail trade recorded monthly sales value of 138 billion ringgit, growing 6.6% year-on-year in May 2023. Chief Statistician Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzir Mahidin said the increase was attributed to the motor vehicle subsector, which surged 22.0% or 3.1 billion ringgit. In a statement, Datuk Seri Dr. Muhammad Uzir said retail trade also expanded by 5.0% or 2.8 billion ringgit to 58.8 billion ringgit, followed by wholesale trade with an increase of 4.4% or 2.6 billion ringgit to 62.2 billion ringgit. For month-on-month comparison, the sales value of wholesale and retail traded rebounded 1.5%, contributed by the motor vehicles and wholesale trade subsectors. For the performance across subsectors, the double-digit growth of 22.0% in the motor vehicle subsector this month was pushed up by sales of motor vehicles. For monthly comparison, the subsector bounced back 16.2%. Contributed by all groups, mainly sales of motor vehicles with 30.8%. Meanwhile, Industrial Production Index IPI rebounded to 4.7% in May 2023 as against negative 3.3% recorded in the previous month. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, this was driven by positive momentum in all sectors. In a statement today, it said the expansion was attributed mainly to the performance in the manufacturing sector, mining and electricity. As compared to April 2023, the IPI accelerated by 7.3% after registering a contraction of 10.8% in April 2023. On a month-on-month comparison, the manufacturing sector registered a positive growth of 7.0% as compared to negative 11.4% in April 2023. Meanwhile, DOSM said the electricity output rose by 5.0% in May 2023 after recording a negative 2.0% in the month before. As against the preceding month, the electricity index strengthened to 10.1%. For the first 5 months, the IPI moderated to 2.0% versus 4.1% in the same period of 2022. In our foreign front, Thai election body recommends PM front runners suspension.
Memulakan langkah pertama memerlukan 1000 kekuatan. Langkah seterusnya memerlukan nekat dan juga keyakinan. Namun anda semua perlu menyokong dan juga membantu mereka kerana kepilihan itu pasti.
The Foreign Ministry is actively coordinating efforts to locate a group of 12 Malaysians who cannot be contacted by their respective families after the heavy rain phenomenon that hit the northern region of India on Sunday. In a statement today, Wisma Putra said search efforts were being carried out via the Malaysian High Commission in New Delhi in collaboration with the Indian authorities. The High Commission was informed that the group in question was participating in an adventure expedition in Hamta Pass, Himachal Pradesh. In the meantime, the Malaysian High Commission in India will continue to monitor developments in Himachal Pradesh and advise Malaysians who need consular assistance to contact at numbers as shown on screen. Wisma Putra also advises Malaysians are also advised to be more careful and stay alert and always follow the weather updates in every location they visit. Thailand's Election Commission today recommended That the Constitutional Court suspend Prime Minister frontrunner Pita Limjaroenrat over allegations he broke campaign rules as an MP just a day before a parliamentary vote for the premiership. The EC's investigation centred around his ownership of shares in a now defunct media company prohibited for MPs under Thai election law. The EC stated evidence has appeared that Peter was the holder of media shares during the election registration date, which is a characteristic that is forbidden for election candidates. It confirmed they will submit their findings to the Constitutional Court for further consideration. It is unclear when the Constitutional Court may rule on the case. Under Thailand's rules, even if Peter is suspended as an MP, he is still eligible to run for Prime Minister. Peruvian Minister of Health Cesar Vasquez visits patients suffering from Guillain-Barré syndrome in a Lima hospital as the country experiences an outbreak of the neurological condition. The government declared a health emergency after at least 180 cases and 4 deaths were recorded between January and July this year. Honduran military police seized a massive cache of arms and ammunition during a raid on several prisons in the Central American country. The operation was carried out by the military police of Public Order of Honduras. Authorities destroyed the seized items during a media conference where they burned and cut down the weapons and ammunition. The remains of 30 victims of the Srebrenica massacre in Bosnia are laid to rest as thousands commemorate the atrocity's 28th anniversary against a backdrop of surging tensions with the landmark peace deal that ended the war under pressure. Bosnian Serb forces captured the ill-fated eastern town on 11 July 1995 and in the following days summarily killed some 8,000 Muslims and men and boys in an act labelled as a genocide by 2 international courts. Djokovic into 12th Wimbledon semi-final as Ukraine's Svitolina shines. That next in sports. The athlete who failed a doping test at the Malaysian Athletics Federation Track and Field Championship last February has chosen not to respond to a show cause letter by the Malaysian anti-doping agency ADAMAS when the deadline expired yesterday. ADAMAS Director Azura Abidin said the athlete had decided not to challenge the B sample test and opted to have the hearing process conducted on him. She said the agency was now actively preparing for the hearing by examining the existing evidence but did not disclose the hearing date. If found guilty, the athlete has the right to appeal. Last June, ADAMAS announced a doping incident at the competition held at the National Sports Council mini stadium in Bukit Jalil. Novak Djokovic reached a 12th Wimbledon semi-final and record equaling 46 at the Grand Slam as Elina Svitolina stunned world number 1 Iga Swiatek, delivering an emotional boost for her war-torn Ukraine homeland. Djokovic, chasing an 8th title at the All-England Club and 24th career major, defeated Andrei Rublev 4-6, 6-1, 6-4, 6-3 and will face Italy's Jannik Sinner for a place in the final. After dropping the first set, a fire-up Djokovic only allowed Rublev 6 points in the first 5 games of the second set. The champion then needed 5 set points to claim the third while saving 3 break points in the same game. Rublev's spirit drained away and Djokovic claimed victory with his 42nd winner of the tie. The Russian world number 7 has now lost all 8 quarterfinals he has played at the majors. Svitolina, the world number 76, who only returned to the tour in April, stunned US Open and French Open champion Swiatek in her quarterfinal 7-5, 6-7, 6-2. She could have had the match wrapped up in straight sets when she led 4-1 and a second set tiebreaker before Swiatek hit back. However, the 28-year-old Ukrainian composed herself, racing away to a double break in the decider. Svitolina, already a semi-finalist in 2019, will take on Marketa Vondrousova of the Czech Republic for a place in Saturday's championship match. The Securities Commission recently launched a flagship capital market initiative, Invested Next Gen Capital Market Talent. It's a large-scale, multifaceted program that aims to enhance the capital market knowledge of 9,000 students. To delve further on this, joining us in our studio tonight on the table is the CEO of Securities Industry Development Corp, or SIDC, Tengku Zarina Tengku Cik. Over to you, Carlos.
Well, thank you, Sahi. Good evening and salam Malaysia Madani. Well, thank you so much, Tengku Zarina, for being with us and, of course, joining us on the table tonight. Can you tell us what are the main challenges that the capital market is currently facing in terms of talent acquisition?
Thank you, Carlos, and thank you, RTM, for having us tonight. Now, before I go to the challenges, Carlos, perhaps it's good that I recap what the capital market is all about. Now, capital market is a 3.6 trillion ringgit industry, where most of the funding activities that churns our economic growth happens, And concurrently, it is also providing opportunities, investment opportunities for the investors to invest their monies in, right? And the industry is regulated by the Securities Commission, the SC, and SIDC, where I'm from, is the capacity building arm of the SC.
Okay.
Now, as we mentioned that earlier, that the industry is very much aligned to the economy, and the nation develops. As the nation develops, the industry also needs to develop further. And for that, it is imperative that we have a sustainable and highly skilled talent pool, to sustain our progress in industry as we go along. And in recent times, you heard so much new trends, that is being talked about: ESG, sustainable investment, sustainable and responsible investments, fintech, continuous digital evolution, AI, generative AI, and so forth. So many things. So we need to make sure that we have a sustainable pool of talents to keep up with this. Now, the challenge is that based on our survey, industry survey that is done by another affiliate of the ICMR, it was found that nearly 50% of our professionals, right, are aged 50 years above.
Okay.
Right? And we even have professionals who are in the age bracket of 70, 80 years. And conversely, the talents that is within the below 30 years of age is only about 8%. And it has been declining over the years.
Okay.
So that's a talent deficit that we have. And another finding from that survey was also that our industry finds that the level of the quality of the graduates that come into the market, to the capital market, has been below expectation. So there is a knowledge gap there, and so that's what we call talent mismatch. So these are the two challenges that we are facing in the capital market, for us to go further.
I see. All right. Well, here's the second question then. All right. Could you highlight actually the importance of ongoing and consistent collaborative efforts from relevant stakeholders in nurturing a sustainable talent pipeline? And this is, of course, to achieve the aspirations as outlined in the Capital Market Master Plan 2021-2025.
Thank you, Carlos, for that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the industry is very well connected, interconnected, within the economy. So there are many stakeholders involved. So collaboration is very key, for any change for that matter, not just in capital market industry. For any change for that matter, you cannot work alone anymore, right? And in the capital market, our stakeholders are many. So we bring together the industry, Bursa, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Higher Education, for us to sit together and come up with solution for our challenges that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
So we come up with the initiative that we call it as Invested. That's, as you mentioned earlier, that was launched by PM a few weeks ago. So Invested is a 3-year initiative, and it has 3 parts of it, Carlos. The first part is career talks and career fairs. This is a series of awareness programs that we will be running throughout the whole 3 years, and we'll be going to the colleges and universities, to create awareness. And this is where we target about 3,000 students to have that kind of awareness per year. Yeah, so over 3 years, about 9,000 students. Yeah, and the second part of the program is Invested Foundation program. So this is where we want to provide introductory knowledge and baseline certification for the graduates. Yeah, through our structured program that is run by SAHIH. We have two certification options for this. The first one is Certified Capital Market Professional Compliance Level 1. Yeah, and this is a recommended certification for anyone, including the young graduates or any young professionals who intend to start a career in capital market. Because capital market is a highly regulated industry, so you have to have that compliance culture in you. The second option that they have under the foundation program is EFPMR, which is E-Familiarization Program. This is a very much a comprehensive introduction to the Malaysian capital market, yeah, and as well as basic skills for them to do marketing for capital market products and closing the deals. So it is sales and marketing kind of skills, basic skills, but it is so these two are certifications that we offer under the foundation program. So the third part of the invested program is the leadership program. Yeah. So this is where we want to groom young leaders of the industries, and the program will entail classroom training for 1 month, comprehensive and very intensive. Then it will be followed by 6 months training, on-the-job training or work placement or internship, as you call it, with the capital market industries, the companies. Yeah. And of course, during that time, 7-month period, you'll be observed by the industry players already, and you'll have high chance of getting employment, right? So this one will benefit about 200 students. The second part of it, as I mentioned, it will benefit 800 students per year, 2,400 students over the 3 years. The last part just now, invested leadership program, 200 students per year, and that will be about 600 students for the 3 years.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we go on to the next question?
Sure, go ahead.
Here we go. How does the Invested Initiative, a capital market graduate program, and of course recently launched by our Prime Minister, address the talent challenge in the capital market?
Right. So just now, when in the first question we discussed about the challenges, talent mismatch, talent deficit, right? So you heard the numbers that I mentioned, the aspirations that we had. We were talking about 12,000 students kind of getting benefits from this program, and so that will definitely help to solve the talent deficit challenge that we had earlier. And then you heard also just now the kind of knowledge that we are going to inculcate into the programs is very much awareness, technical, basic baseline technical knowledge of the capital market. So that will hopefully will solve that talent mismatch challenge. Okay. Yeah, so I think that is where we are aiming that the invested initiative will help us solve the challenges for the talent in the capital market.
Okay. Is this program, done elsewhere besides Malaysia? This is the first.
I'm sure there are other forms of graduate programs in other parts of the world. Ours is structured as such based on our current needs in the industry. Like I said, the collaboration that we had done earlier with the industry is very much specific and skewed towards what we need in Malaysia at this point of time. So like I said, graduate programs is is available anywhere. In fact, at the industry level, Carlos, there are many graduate programs already, but in the at the company level, that the graduates enter the graduate program, they will learn about the company itself, right? Whereas here, you'll be learning about the whole industry, how the industry interconnected, connectivity among the ecosystem, within the ecosystem, and so you will have a bit more, breadth. But there are many other graduate programs around.
Okay. In what way Invested can enhance a graduate's employability and launch their career in the challenging yet fulfilling capital market industry?
Indeed. So this is a very important part of our conversation today, Carlos, because there are many gains that our students can get from this program. So through our career talks itself, just now the 3,000 targeted students per year, right? They will get awareness on the capital market, how capital market is actually connected to the Malaysian economy, to the surrounding lifestyle that we have right now. So at least some basic idea, because some of one of the challenges I had just now, I mentioned just now, why we don't have that young talents coming in is because they were not aware of the capital market. So with this program, we hope they are more aware, and the fact that even if they don't enter the industry as a career option, Carlos. The understanding or awareness that they have on capital market will make them, will give them a good starting point, some knowledge for them before they start their personal investment journey if they have not started. Because you are an investor yourself, right? We are all investors here, but we don't know what is our industry that is involved in the investment community ecosystem for that matter. So they will get that at least, right? And then through the foundation program, this is where we targeted the second-year students, or 2 years before they graduate, starting from as early as that. So they will gain entry-level kind of professional certification already as they graduate, right? With their degree and professional certification already. You know what it means, right?
Yes, of course.
Your resume is going to be, better than if you don't have the certificate for the industry certification. So that better chance of employability, definitely, right? Now, through the leadership program, the graduates who have got potential to be future leaders, you'll be groomed early on, right? And you will have on-the-job training, classroom activities, of course, and then you have got the job trainings and mentoring, Carlos, by the industry leaders. At that time, you'll be observed by industry leaders already as your potential future leaders, and they can, perhaps, definitely land a very good offer of job employment. So, Carlos, in the end, graduates will definitely have better access to some highly skilled jobs in the capital market, and ultimately, they will be able to have that the opportunity for them to contribute to the growth of the Malaysian economy, and help raise living standards and lifestyle of Malaysia as a nation.
All right, fantastic. Okay, well, thank you so much, Tengku Zarina, for the insight and clarity, and that wraps up our On the Table segment for today. Back to you, Sahi.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos. That concludes Malaysia Tonight this time around. Do tune in to Updates at Noon coming up tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on TV2. We'll leave you with a video showing giant panda Aibao giving birth to baby panda twins at South Korean amusement park Everland, becoming the first giant panda twins to be born in the country. Till then, I'm SAHIH Samsudin. Malaysia Madani, tekad perpaduan, penuhi harapan. Thank you for watching.
밤새 지켜줄 테니까 걱정하지 마.